Welcome to episode 6 of Pulling from the Post-it Pile, where I share fun, encouraging, inspiring, and sometimes provocative things that people have shared with me over my career that I found helpful and wrote down for future reference. I'm going to be doing this every weekday until I find a job. So let's see what's on top of the stack today. Uh, this one's cool. It's cool because I picked it up in an interview cycle that I was in. I was recently in an interview cycle where we started engaging in conversation, and this was said. I really appreciated it. This comes from Igor. So shout out to Igor for this one. We can't sell Jira tickets, so that can't be a measure of success. I really appreciate this one in a world where we're really focused on cost savings, productivity, optimizing productivity, maximizing productivity becomes a really, really important topic to talk about. And in my experience in engineering operations work and agile operations work, it can get a little bit dicey when you start really leaning into numerical metrics. I think once you start asking yourself, well, okay, what's the velocity of the teams? Um, how many story points were completed per sprint with some sort of target, number of Jira tickets completed in a given time frame, lines of code written, bugs found, tests run. Like all of those things can be valuable and helpful in the right circumstance, but most of the time I don't think we're really leaning into or gaining what we think we're leaning into for that. We want maximum productivity because we want maximum success of the business. Maximum success comes from maximum customer value. Did we delight the customers? And the number of Jira tickets is not something the customers buy nor they care about. This is where I really, really like how we're leaning into customer-centered outcomes. I know that's getting buzzy right now, but I think it's really, really valuable. It's a wonderful part of the conversation. Rather than focusing on how productive anybody can be, how much work is coming out of a particular team, these metrics generally tell you how busy people are. Instead of leaning into that, leaning into what outcomes are we trying to produce that will delight the customer? If you create that clear vision and then set the team out on it and the team delivers, I think you're going to find that people aren't asking for numbers like how many Jira tickets were done, how many lines of code were written. That becomes an immaterial data point when the customer is truly delighted, they're loving the product, the business is successful, they're loving the product, they're loving the value that's coming out of it, and the engineering organization continues to innovate and do inspiring work that people find valuable. Much, 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 much more beneficial than starting to talk about how many Jira tickets anybody completed. So again, focus on customer-centered outcomes. Describe